Welcome. In today's tutorial, we're going to walk through how to enter your time for each job into the Time app here. You'll be given a URL and you'll place that in your browser in your phone, save it as a bookmark, and it'll always come up here to a login screen. You're going to enter in your employee ID or whichever number that your supervisor selects for you to use, and then click the green check mark. This brings me up to my current timesheet. Now, if I have prior, when I click this button down, they will show up here. There are no priors on this particular instance, so there's nothing to show you as far as that goes. But your timesheets will always be available to look at and review. No matter how long you've been with the company, it's just going to be going all the way back. What I'm looking at right now is the time that I've already entered. Punch type is B. It's just a bulk number of hours that was entered, in this case 4 of them. And that was on the 1st. Then on the 1st, I had another 4 hours entered. On the 2nd, I entered 6 hours. Down at the bottom here, I can see the totals, and it's 14. I've got week 1 here, but if I click on week 1 or total, they're both going to be the same because you have a weekly pay period. If you were bi-weekly, you might have a week 2 over here, and you could toggle back and forth to see how many hours were worked in each. These are just the total number of hours. Unpaid is not going to apply because you're not clocking in and out of lunch. Dollars is not going to apply because this is only for tips, bonus, commission, things like that that are entered to your timesheet. It does not mean your rate times the number of hours worked. So you can ignore this, you can ignore this. These are just the actual hours for the week. Now, you can look and see this in a different view by clicking Print Timesheet. And this is going to come up, your start time, the end time, based on the time that you chose when you added the hours. As we go to the right, bulk time, it's just you're entering in hours. You're not doing a clock in / clock out. So you're entering a bulk amount of hours. Then the number of hours that you entered in, and of course down below, we can look at the total hours. These are going to go to 40. Anything after 40 is going to hit overtime, and it'll show you where it may hit overtime. So that's how you can tell, yeah, that looks good. No, I missed something. I should have had another one here on the 1st. Whatever, but this lets you know what you're looking at in a little bit better format than possibly what this is, or at least in a different format that some people prefer versus this and the totals. I know if I've got 50 hours down here, 40 is regular and 10's overtime. But some people may prefer looking at that print timesheet. So to enter hours in is simple. I come over here to the 4 dashes and click, and I want to do the timesheet entry. Not only can I see what I've already entered in, but if I need to, I would be able to go back and modify and then save. And I wanted this to coincide with that. That's just my OCD. It wasn't necessary. But I just wanted to show you that it can be modified. You can choose to delete it and add it again if that's your preference. To add time in, we want to click New Transaction. For the transaction type, we need to physically click on Bulk Transaction. That's going to bring it up into bulk time here. That's my only option here anyways. But don't forget under transaction type that you do need to click on bulk transaction. Start date, this is going to be the day that we did the work. And we may have done some September 30th. Here's that start time that I was referencing on the other screen. So you can click here and choose a time. That's close. You may be able to just click on here and enter in 800 and on your keyboard the letter A, or once you've got 800, click on either AM or PM. It's up to you. Each transaction needs a start time. If one is 8 a.m., the other is 8:01 a.m., it's not going to stop anybody from being paid. But they all should have their stop time, and really they should emulate the time, the approximate time you started the second job. We're going to put in 5 hours for this. You don't need to leave a note. If you do leave a note, there's no guarantee that your supervisor uh, is going to see that note. So just be aware of that. We can go down and we next need to select which job we're using. If the job's not in here, you might select none and put the note of what it was for. That way, when they're in looking at your timesheets, they've got more information. They don't need to bother you on the job site. That's just one option. But normally the jobs should be put in as soon as they have them. They should be available to you, and you should choose which one that you need. The only case where I would see no job is maybe if I'm at the office, I'm not physically working at any of these jobs, but I'm doing something in the office, picking up parts, supplies, things like that. I do see that there's one in here for the shop. Obviously, if you're working in the shop, then that should be selected for that time. Your supervisor would be able to advise you when to use none and when to use the other ones. So, but it's important that you choose the right one so that your time is attached to the correct job for what it needs to be. I'm going to use Bonnie Plants, and then all I have to do is click Save. Transaction added successfully. I scroll down here, there it is. I need to add another one. Come in again, bulk transaction is the first thing you select. The start date, we'll go back and use the 30th. And I'm going to put 5 hours. And we'll go down and do shop. Maybe we're just working around the shop. Where did we go? Shop. Don't forget to add your start time. If you've forgotten something up here, you're not going to be able to save it until you've filled in what's required. The things that are required is the transaction type, the pay type, a date, a time, the number of hours worked, and a job. So in this instance, I did not have the start time. Click on that, then I click on this and choose PM, and it doesn't even matter. I don't know. Different phones are different. That if you're clicking on here, whether it's just going to bring up a number keypad or an alpha number where you could choose, click on this and then just type the letter P. But you're able to use this as well. We'll just leave it for that. All I need to calculate are these 5 hours for this job. If your supervisor needs you to closely approximate the time you started, then yes, you're going to need to go in and make sure that that is as close as possible to when you did this. A lot of companies that are billed require records and things like that. But I'll put it in here. I click Save. Transaction added successfully. We can see, here we go. There's that one. Everybody's happy. I can view timesheets. I'm going to see the same information. I'm going to see my hours increasing over here. Again, if I remembered something that I'd forgotten, back over here, timesheet entry, either add a new transaction or maybe I just simply need to edit one of these that I had the wrong number of hours. When I'm completed, I can come up here and log off or just switch screens on the phone, close the phone, whatever you need to do. You're not really worried about other people getting into your phone. So that concludes the training on adding your hours for the different jobs with the eTimeClock entry here on the timesheet entry. Thanks for watching.